friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about what to expect as an English major. I know that this might seem a little weird, like what else to expect? Reading, writing, English. But there's a lot that I wasn't exactly expecting going into it and things that I think would be really helpful for people to know if they're considering becoming an English major. So I just thought I'd talk to you guys and see if maybe there are any English majors out there who wanted a little more info before making a final decision. So let's jump right into it. I've got my notes right here. I've been doing this now. I think it's a good idea. I don't sound like a blubbering idiot when I do a video. And in honor of the fact that this is all about English majors, I thought I would wear my Pride and Prejudice shirt. You can't really see it. It says I party with Mr. Darcy. I love this shirt. My mom got it for me for Hanukkah like 4 years ago or something. I don't know, a long time ago, but I love this shirt. I think it's so fun and so cute. So in honor of English majors, I thought I'd wear my literature shirt. Okay, so the first couple things are pretty obvious. Expect to read a lot and expect to write a lot. I know that sounds really obvious. It is totally obvious, but it's also not obvious. You're going to be reading so much, and that sounds like easy. Okay, just read. But you're gonna have to be reading and analyzing at the same time and really putting a lot of effort into your reading and paying really close attention to making sure you're getting out of the reading what you need to be getting out of the reading to make an informed discussion about it, an informed essay about it, even just a response to it. So you have to be reading very, very actively, and sometimes you're reading so much. I had a teacher one semester who wouldn't assign more than 100 pages of a book for one class period. So for that class alone, I could expect up to 100 pages of reading on top of any other work I had to do. So especially as you get higher up into your degree, you can expect that, you're taking a lot more English classes. If you're taking 4 or 5 classes and each class is saying no more than 100 pages, that's 400 or 500 pages a night, or however it works out, but per session or whatever. So you're gonna have to read a lot and you're gonna have to write a lot. Sometimes not only in your English classes, sometimes in your history classes. I just had to turn in an essay for my history class. Sometimes for your English classes, you're gonna have lots of writing for English classes and all of that kind of stuff. My first semester in college, I believe it was, I had 9 essays. No, I think it was more than that. Because I had 6 in one class, 3 in another, 4 in another. I had a lot of essays in one semester. So you're gonna do a lot of writing, and try and just find ways that work best for you to get that writing done. I know for me that there are different ways that I can outline an essay and prepare for it to make the actual writing process itself go a lot quicker. So sometimes, accept that you can take longer to do one aspect to make another aspect take a lot less time. So I would write out, depending on what I need to do. For example, this could work for anything. So let's say I need to write a research essay about, one of the ones I did was about overcrowding in jails, I believe it was. So I needed a certain number of sources, I think maybe 6, 5 or 6, that was usual for that class. And so I would find 5 or 6 sources, I would read through the article or whatever it was, and I would write down every single quote that interested me or that I thought I could fit into my essay. Once I did that for all the sources, I would go back and write out a list of how many points I would need. So if it was a 6-page essay, I knew I could do about 2 paragraphs per page. So I would need 12 paragraphs, take off 1 for introduction, 1 for conclusion. So I would need 10 ideas, give or take, and I would write out those 10 ideas. Then I would go back to my quotes and I would assign each of them a number relating to those ideas that would go into the essay. Then I would go back, look through, figure out what my final ones would be, and I would again go back to the numbers and figure out an order that the essay would best flow in. That way, when I actually wrote the essay, all I had to do was just put it all together and figure out the words to say it. In high school, my English literature AP whatever teacher taught us what she called a loop. You need your support, so a quote, your evidence, whatever, and then you need how it relates to your thesis and why it relates to your thesis. And if you can do that over and over, doesn't matter what you write, it's going to come out so much easier. I definitely recommend trying to implement this into your own writing. It has helped me so much, I cannot even tell you. So I definitely recommend that. The next thing is the workload, which is going off again what I've been saying. It doesn't always seem like it, and I think a lot of people misunderstand this. English majors have a lot of work to do. Where I'm at right now, for 2 different classes, I need to write 600 words each at least per week. On top of, and that's divided into 3 sections, so Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for each of those 2 classes, I have a 200 plus word response due on top of the readings that are assigned to those responses. And that's 2 of my 5 classes. So there's a lot that you have to do because you don't just have assignments, you have longer assignments, they're very time consuming. So just, know that going in, know that it's going to take a lot of work. And going off of that, it can be. This has been my experience as a creative writing track, as having a creative writing track for my English major. Because I'm doing creative writing, there's a lot of vulnerability involved as well. I'm not just reading literature and analyzing literature, I'm putting out my own work and being graded on it, which is very difficult to be graded on something subjectively and to be graded on something that you create. But I know that no matter how scary it is and vulnerable and whatever, it's really exciting and I learn so much from it and it makes me better every single time. But it is very, very vulnerable. And that can kind of lead to writer's block because sometimes there's so much pressure of making something really good really quick and then you freeze and you don't know what to write about at all, but you have an assignment due, so you have to do it and you have to get a grade on it, and it has to be good if you're going to get a grade on it, but you don't know exactly how to make it good yet. So you kind of just have to calm down, take a breath, and let it happen as it does. Find whatever way works for you. I know I had a short story due yesterday and I was trying to force an idea. I think I ended up writing at least the beginnings of 6 different stories until finally there was a spider in my shower and I freaked out, and then I ended up writing a short story about spiders because I couldn't force an idea to come to me. And I think that that's part of it, is you just have to understand why you're feeling a certain way and why writer's block is coming up and try and figure out the best way to move forward in a timely manner. It's very stressful. It's not always super fun. The next thing I want to talk about is writer's block's lesser known evil twin, reader's block. I know that I don't think I've ever heard somebody talk about, well, yes, but not in this way. Not really heard too many people talk about reader's block. Reader's block is kind of when you've read so much that your brain starts to fry a little bit, which I'm sure happens in every major, but then you have to then read more, and you have to read very actively and attentively and focused and all this stuff, and then but you're just fried from reading all this stuff. That can happen a lot. You kind of have to just take a break, I think, in my experience, just take a break, separate, and then come back to it in a little while when you can. Kind of build your schedule to allow for those kinds of breaks. I found if I, work with consistent breaks in my schedule, that I experience this a lot less frequently, so I definitely recommend that. And then I would say the next thing I want to talk about is shitty first drafts. In my creative writing class in high school, I don't remember who the writer was that talked about this, but my creative writing teacher would read from different writers' books, and this was somebody's advice, and what she talked about. I can't remember who it is. I'm so sorry. And something, I think, maybe. But shitty first drafts. First drafts are supposed to be shitty. They're supposed to kind of suck because you just got to get out the words. And I tend to fight against this. I tend to hate it, and I hate what I'm doing, so I scrap it because I don't like how it is yet. You just have to breathe and just write anyway, and then fix it, edit it, revise, and then it's slowly, even if you have to do it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, it kind of builds and becomes what you're envisioning. And going off of that, this advice sucks. It really does. I almost hate to give it, but it works really, really well. Don't edit. Don't edit your work. That sounds crazy. Don't edit, rewrite. I found this advice on, I think, like Tumblr or something, and I decided to give it a go. And since trying it, I found that when I try to just edit off a page and just look at it and see the changes that I need to make, I forget things. I skip over things because I'm just reading. It's very easy to just get lost in just reading over what you've done and trying to fix it right there. What I've learned to do is take one half of my screen and make it the old document. So if it's a short story, the first draft of the short story, and then I open a new Google document and I put it right next to it, and that's the new draft. What I do is I read every single word and I rewrite it however I need to, and I make the changes I need to, because when I do that, I have to focus and pay attention to every single word because I have to rewrite every single word. I don't always have the time for this. Sometimes I am way too swamped. I've got too many things to do and I just simply don't have the time. But if you have the time, or you have an assignment that's worth it, make the time and don't edit, rewrite. Then you get graded on these things. Sometimes you have workshops where you're critiquing other students and other students are critiquing you. And that is also part of this vulnerability, is like accepting criticism on something you've created. And I think one thing is that know that these people are only telling you these things to make your work better, and listen to what they have to say. Don't just say no because it's hard and it's emotional, because it is. Listen to what they have to say. Think about your work and decide whether or not it works for you. You don't have to listen to every critique, whether it's from a professor or not. You are the creator. That's the whole point. It's a very subjective grading. So if somebody gives you critique, you don't have to make that change if that's not what you want to reflect in your story. You have to understand why that change would occur, what that change would mean, what keeping things the same would mean, and you have to decide what's best for your story. And you have to have the confidence to know what your writing is and what your story is about. But overall, with all the bad stuff with the workload and the writer's block and the reader's block and the shitty first drafts and rewriting instead of editing, it doesn't matter if you love it. If you love it, it doesn't matter. There are nights when I am up late or up early, or I guess wake up early, go to sleep late, whatever. I am exhausted and I'm done with the reading and I'm done with the writing and I'm done with all of it, but I finish the assignment and then I just feel really good. I feel happy and I'm so excited to get to do it again. I'm so excited to read more, to write more, to get more advice on my writing, to better my craft. So if you feel anything similar, or if you think you could, I recommend an English major. I recommend trying it and seeing if you get that same feeling, because no matter how much work it is, it's so worth it if you love it. And I do, so I'm very, very happy about that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys again in the next one. Let me know what videos you want to see in the comment section down below. Hit the subscribe button if you aren't subscribed already and you like my content. I'll see you guys later. Bye.